What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie. Lost my voice, kind of sick, a little restless, well medicated, stuck at home. Thought I would pass some time by continuing our deep dive into the Moody Blues catalog. Never heard their albums before. Decided to go through one by one and see whether or not I like them. I'm really enjoying this experience. And we're now on album number 9, Octave, which, being that album number 8 was the 7th Sojourn, they're honoring their second lineup. They've sort of ignored their first lineup, and that the 8th album was 7th and their 9th album is an Octave. So that discussion aside, this is an album they released in 1978, their previous having been dropped in 1972. So I was kind of nervous about this one. In their first that seven album run of that second lineup, the classic Moody Blues lineup, I don't know how much progress as a band they made. They were doing slightly different stuff, and each album has its own little flavor. But the idea that they took a break for 6 years and then came back, I really had no idea what to expect with this album. And listening to it, in many ways, it sounds like an album that completely does not know that both punk rock and disco exist. And it's a Moody Blues album that could have been released in 1973 and 1974, except for the fact that it's fully conscious of the fact that soft rock of the 70s exists, and it's fully conscious of the fact that singer-songwriters of the 70s exist, because those two elements are there. There's a little bit of psychedelia, which is something I think they're absolutely perfect at. And there's a lot of slight prog elements on here, both because of their use of synthesizers and organs, and a lot of the songs develop in kind of a proggy way and have sort of a prog ballady sort of, maybe this is like progressive soft rock is what this is. But pretty interesting, a surprisingly interesting, and I would say enjoyable comeback album after 6 years. And before I get into the album, one more thing. On the last album, the seventh Sojourn, I don't think there was a that there. I liked that album, but I definitely had it ranked kind of towards, I think, the bottom half of their previous albums. And I was surprised because I got a lot of comments of people who were like, "What? This is my favorite album. This is classic," all that kind of stuff. Which I appreciate the comments. I've revisited that album and tried to get that. It's still not clicking for me. But I want to give a warning. For those of you who might have commented on 7th Sojourn and say I was crazy for not ranking it higher, if you're here because you think you might get really upset if I like Octave better than 7th Sojourn, I recommend you just stop watching the video now, go find something else, and that way you don't have to get upset unnecessarily. But if you're one of those people who think there's something kind of really cool about Octave and that it needs more love than it's getting, I don't know how much love it's getting. I'm assuming not as much. Stick around because this album's going to get a lot of love. So 10 songs. It is still, my understanding, the same band that was in those previous 7 albums, not counting the first one, which is why this is called Octave, because it's the 8th in this sequence. And the first 3 songs for me, I think, are interesting. Not the highlight. I think once we get to song 4, that's when this, for me, this album just kind of takes off in a really good way. But the first 3 songs are interesting. Opens up with this kind of weird, funky little rock number that's weird in a Moody Blues rock way called Steppin' in a Slide Zone. It's really interesting musically. I really like the verses on here. It's a little cheesy at times. There's some cheesy keyboards. There's some cheesy claps in it. There's a lot of really interesting elements. But the chorus, which I believe is just stepping in the slide zone, and then there's something else. I don't know if I know what a slide zone is. It's the chorus when they sing "Stepping in a Slide Zone." Reminds me of this artist named Kip Adada, who was played on Dr. Demento a lot in the 70s and 80s. And he wrote these songs that were just all puns. Like one of them's about being like a cop underwater, and he's like, yeah, he was acting shellfish, and just all these weird puns. I can't think of any more. But all of his courses had this really cheesy, almost like bum ba bum ba bum ba. Like you could see the women clapping their hands as they sing it. The Steppin' in the Slide Zone chorus reminds me of that, and it's not in a good way. I don't like the chorus of Steppin' in the Slide Zone. It's just a little, I don't know, it's a little weird. But musically, the rest of the song's pretty interesting. Under Moonshine. Under Moonshine is the second song. Very starts fluty, arty, almost like a Disney Bambi soundtrack type thing. There's some nice changes throughout it. There's some late era, like Roxy Music vibes and some of the crooning that goes on in this. But Under Moonshine as a second song is like, yeah, punk and disco never happened. We're still in the early 70s doing this sort of airy psych music. And then the next song is Had to Fall in Love. Starts off really nice, has like an acoustic guitar, some nice, like, sort of high tone Neil Young type harmonica. The opening vibe is fantastic, but I don't think the rest of the song really builds on that in a super interesting way. Kind of like doesn't deliver on its opening promise to my ears. But then from this point on, or at least for the next six, and then the last song, this album gets fantastic. Soft rock elements for sure, late 70s elements for sure. I was raised on 70s soft rock, so like I can rock some America any day of the week and enjoy myself. And there's a little bit of that throughout this. The first song that really kicks it up for me is called I'll Be Level with You. This is like sort of the big rocker of the album. A lot of really good, just a big dramatic opening, nice psych pop energy, some really good tempo changes throughout, some very proggy energy. It clocks in at like 3 minutes and 47 seconds, and it's almost like a little mini epic with like all the stuff going on. It just feels a lot grander than the length maybe denotes, but there's a lot packed in on this, and it's a absolutely fantastic song. After that is a song called Driftwood, which really nice acoustic vibe musically. It starts off really great. This is definitely a softer sounding song, but it keeps getting more and more interesting as the song goes on, and they just keep adding more like musical layers. Really nice guitar playing in here. There's this sax that's just kind of dancing in the background. Lyrics kind of work, the singing works. Yeah, it's just really, really kind of a good soft song. Early in their catalog, the songs that never really connected with me were some of their softer things. I liked the psych pop, I liked the harder edge stuff that they were doing. But now that we have this like whole middle 70s of soft rock, it seems to have seeped into this a little bit, and I like it. But yeah, Driftwood, fantastic, fantastic song. That's side A, those five songs. Side two opens up with something called Top Rank Suite, which is just fun. It's a little bit of like Elvis meets Grease, meets Billy Joel's Easy Lover, sort of a 50s sort of homage, which is really good energy. It's just a really, really fun, awesome, catchy, hook laden song that kind of sounds like nothing else they do, but it's really enjoyable and sitting right in the middle of the album, opening up side two, absolutely fantastic. Next we get I'm Your Man, super 70s soft rock vibes, on the verge of being bred. That's how soft rock this is, but it's hooky and it works, and it is just so perfect. The melodies are perfect. There's this repetitive like this like 4 beat phrase that repeats. Almost sounds like if you're a fan of Ween. Ween has these soft rock songs that are kind of tongue in cheek. The lyrics are Ween-esque, but this almost sounds like it could have been inspiration for like a Ween 70s soft rock song. Just absolutely fantastic. Survival, awesome, awesome, awesome course. the way they sing. John Lodge is a singer, sings Sir. I don't know. I'm gonna. I don't have the melody in my head, but like it's survive. The way he sings the word survival in this, absolutely fantastic. Great hook. It just nicely evolves into this awesome prog ballad. Definitely more of like a soft rock energy. With like strings going on in the back, a little more urgent soft rock, but excellent, excellent. Um, we get a song called One Step Into the Light, which is like an okay ballad. Um, Very serious, like delivery of the voice, like almost like a Harry Chapin almost type. Not that serious, but Virgin on that. Okay song. And then it closes out with The Day We Meet Again, which has this really awesome opening minute plus, this incredible sort of keyboard riff, this progression that keeps being played on the keyboards as it just kind of sets up the song. The lyrics show up about a minute in. Nice, tender, aching, tender-hearted type ballad energy. Great backing music. There's these nice bass runs that start popping up into it. It's just another slowly building, slightly prog type epic that just over the course of it, this is a long song, like 6+ minutes, just kind of gets a little more intense and a little more intense and a little more intense. So yeah, I absolutely, really, really, really enjoy this album. Um, I don't know. It is still on the continuum of Moody Blues stuff, I would think. It's definitely not a drastic departure in any way from what they were doing in the early 70s. Um, Punk doesn't exist, disco doesn't exist, fully soft rock has happened, singer songwriter energy has happened. Um, Nice little prog elements in there, but they're subtle. Um, and Yeah, just a surprisingly strong album, if you ask me, especially after taking a 6 year break where everybody was doing other things and the music world changed drastically. But yeah, I like this album. Where would I rank it among the others? Yeah, I apologize to you Seventh Sojourn fans, but I have it at number 5. I Yeah, I really, really enjoy this. It might, as I continue to listen, it might jump a couple more, to be honest with you. In Days of Future Past, I'm already starting to give up on side A. It's just not what I want. That may drop by the time we're done doing this. But yeah, that's where it is. It's at number 5. Yeah, 7 Sojourn. Octave is at number 5. So yeah. All right, that's all I got. I'm gonna take some more throat medicine and rest, and I hope my voice isn't too much of a distraction. But anyways, a little restless and wanted to get this done, but now I'm starting to feel it again. All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Let me know your thoughts on this album. Let me know your thoughts on the Moody Blues. Feel like we're in a slightly new era and things. I don't know. Interested in what the next album sounds like because I feel like this was somewhat of a success. So, but yeah. All right. I'm rambling. Peace. Talk to you later.